Welcome, everyone, to the Health and Wellness Briefs podcast. I am your host today, Megan Amaya. I am very excited to turn the tables and interview the podcast host, Bern Melnyk. So, Bern, welcome to your own podcast.
Excited about this role reversal today, Megan.
I'm very excited. The idea, Bern, of the switch was given your background on an expertise in mental health, evidence-based practice, creating cultures of well-being and well-being itself. I wanted to get some insight from you on how to lead well. It is so important in today's world to lead well. That is our topic today. And I want that topic to actually go beyond the context of the workplace. So, when we talk about leading well, let's look at it from a broad lens and relate it to being parents and grandparents, friends, family, spouses, significant others, people who manage in the workplace, teachers, instructors. So, it really is going to be a broad perspective on leading well. So, if you don't mind, as we converse and dialogue, keeping that perspective that leading well can apply to many contexts. And that'll be really great to get some of your insight. And some of your examples, of course, can come from the professional world as well as the personal world.
Leadership is so key because it has a ripple effect to everybody around us, including organizations and families.
So, my first question for you, that was a great segue. Thank you. It's a broad one. So, what are some of those important concepts or key considerations of leading well? And you talk about leadership. So, expand upon that and then also share with us some of those other important considerations of leading well in life.
Well, first of all, I think to be a great leader, you've got to mentor and support your people and help them to dream big, to discover, which is all about risk taking, and to persist through character builders to deliver those dreams. Alignment with people's dreams, purpose, and passion is more important than many people realize. Because when you are supported by your leader to dream big, to take risks, to keep going when the going gets tough, you're excited about getting out of bed every single morning. When you're not aligned, that's when you get burnt out. You get a lack of motivation. Your energy saps. I have a perfect example, though, about the ripple effect of leading your family. Our youngest daughter, Kaylin, who's an equine veterinarian in the Tampa area, sent me a video clip this weekend of her reading a big dream book to my little 2-year-old grandson. And let me tell you what, it made my heart sing for joy to see my own daughter teaching her little toddler how important dreaming big is. Just warmed my heart considerably.
The apple does not fall far, does it? That's an amazing, like you said, heartwarming story. And when you're talking about those key considerations, certainly we can think about leadership and mentoring and those aspects in the workplace. The dreams, though, for your children, your grandchildren, and nurturing them and supporting them throughout their growth and development is just as important as a boss. And that was one of your strengths as the dean of the College of Nursing, and certainly still as the chief wellness officer. You've always been so supportive of dreams and where people want to take their lives. So it's really good in both areas.
Absolutely. And as a leader, say for an organization, I can't stress enough how important it is to be transparent with your people, to be caring, to be honest, and to focus on the team. Because together, everybody accomplishes more. And people need frequent doses of vitamin G. People will often do things because they're appreciated versus for more money. When I was dean in Arizona, I couldn't give people raises for 4 solid years. No cost of living increases. And people often ask me, even during that time, how did how did you motivate people to keep coming to work? How did you motivate people to stay with you and not go to another college or university? And the answer again is simple, but a lot of leaders don't see this. It's the ability to support your people. You don't try and put round pegs in square holes. We all, at times, have to do things we don't really like to do. But if you can help your people continue to pursue their dreams and you appreciate them regularly, that means the world to them and they will stay with you. I'm so blessed because you've been with me now, Megan, for 12 years. That's incredible. And I appreciate you and all you give to our team consistently.
I know you do. And that means the world to me. And I'm hearing you say support, communication is really important. You mentioned the transparency piece and just always listening and learning and communicating with whoever it is that you need to communicate with in your life. This motivation. What are some other examples of how a teacher, a parent, etc., could lead well? Maybe some tangible ways in which we can role model behaviors.
Yeah, I have a perfect example. Years ago, I was consulting as a nurse practitioner for a child and adolescent inpatient psychiatric unit. There was a 12-year-old girl on that unit who tried to kill herself. She was very depressed. She was very angry because she grew up in a very abusive family. And every day that I was there, I'd go in her room and I'd sit down and I tried to talk with her. She'd get angry at me. And one day she threw her pillow at me and said, "Bern, why do you bother? I don't want you in here. I'm just angry at the world." And I looked at her and I gave her a hug. And I said, "Because I care about you." And that was a watershed breakdown moment that led to her recovery. But do you know what she said to me? She said, "Bern, nobody in my life has ever told me they care about or love me. Can you imagine being 12 and never hearing that?
No, I can't.
So,
Yeah.
part of leadership is letting your people, your family, consistently know you love them, you care about them. And maybe you're not always going to agree. Sometimes you might have to agree to disagree. But I think if people know you're authentic, that you're being honest with them, that goes such a long way. But creating that culture of caring and well being is so important in your family, in your organization. Culture each strategy for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's a great segue into, and thank you for sharing that really amazing story. In the workplace, more specifically, we have many layers of quote unquote leadership. What would you say is the role of the top leaders of the organization versus those in the mid level manager supervisor roles in specifically promoting wellness and self care? And maybe there isn't a difference, but what if there is? What would you say would be the differences between those layers?
Well, all leaders, all managers, all supervisors need to walk the talk, not just say what everybody should be doing. Because if they're not walking the talk, chances are other people won't as well. But the key difference is top leaders have resources to invest. A lot of times managers and supervisors don't have those level of resources. So if the vision is to create a culture of well-being and caring and connectedness, you got to put resources and money behind it. And let me tell you, when you do, it's going to have a big return on investment and value of investment because your people will be healthier, happier, and more engaged and productive.
And improve population health, which is ultimately why those of us who work in wellness do what we do, because we want to try to improve the lives of others. The oxygen mask.
Absolutely.
I know you've heard that saying a million times. It's very popular in the health and wellness world. For all of the types of leaders that we identified at the beginning of our discussion, how does the leader prioritize their own wellness given all the different responsibilities and busyness of the day?
It takes commitment. You got to be committed to it. I mean, people find it hard to believe I go to the gym an average of 4 days a week. And maybe on that fifth day, I don't make it to the gym, but I go and take my dogs on a 2 mile walk or whatever it is. You've got to commit to it. You got to commit to still doing things that bring you meaning and joy. And leaders often think, oh, I don't have any time to prioritize my own self care. And a lot of times we have to learn lessons the hard way. But if we don't take the time for good self care today, we're going to have to make the time for chronic disease later. And we got to raise people's emotions because most people don't change unless crisis happens and it's too late. So it's a hard concept. It's a really hard concept. And the health athlete course that we do here helps people to face their true story and rewrite a new one. And that's an emotional process that's necessary to change.
And small doses too. You have that saying of take the small bite of the elephant, the chocolate elephant, if you if you'd like. It is about small doses. And we talk about this with behavior like exercise and healthy eating. It's not a 0 to 100 thing. It's baby steps, it's small incremental changes that you can make, that those small shifts can make big health changes over time. And that's really important because otherwise it overwhelms individuals when they try to take on too much.
Inch by inch, it's a cinch. Yard by yard, it's hard.
There you go. My last question for you, as a leader in your family, with your friends, the workplace, etc., how can someone help motivate others to take care of themselves?
You gotta get back to the dream. It all gets back to the dream. You've got to know where you're going, or else you're going to end up someplace else. I always say, you got to find out what is that person's dream. Well, if they have a dream 5 years from now to lead an organization, how is making some lifestyle behavior change going to help them accomplish that dream? You've got to connect it to the dream. And again, use emotion. I mentor a lot of people in negotiation skills. I'm a warm and fuzzy leader, but I'm a tough negotiator. And I always tell people evidence plus emotion will help you to get what you need. We got to raise people's emotion, both making some lifestyle behavior change or negotiate, based on evidence and emotion.
I would also add in the social, which is somewhat foundational. What you're talking about is the social connections, and that social network is so hard when you're trying to support someone on their dream, and you teaching individuals those skills to be able to do X, Y, or Z. That social is so important in helping others continue on their journey, whatever that looks like for them. Yeah. Bern, thank you so much for this dose of wisdom and insight on leading well. We really appreciate your knowledge and expertise and time and energy. This was really great, and we can't wait to get it out there. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Megan. And keep dreaming, discovering, and delivering, and of course, taking good self care.